The Summer Berry Company. The Summer Berry Company got a big site in southern England with a great team. And I asked Helen Wilson there, if I could come and visit the Summer Berry Company in Portugal, and she said yes. So here we go. To this way, I think. So team, the Summer Berry Company, what's your favourite fresh produce?
Strawberries.
Blueberries.
Ooh.
I'm on the raspberry side.
Are you?
Yeah.
Introduce yourself.
So I'm Milena, and I work as a communication specialist for the Summer Berry Company.
Yeah, and she's very good. Introduce yourself, please.
So my name is João.
Yeah.
I'm the head of agronomy for Summer Berry Company Portugal.
Okay. And introduce this man.
Daniel, want to introduce yourself? Daniel is our operations manager, operations director here at Summer Berry Company Portugal.
And we just had a really interesting catch up about where the fresh produce sector is in the Summer Berry Company. And we very quickly established we've all got long links with the Summer Berry Company. My view is that the Summer Berry Company in the UK and here is a force for good, that you're growing in a very sustainable manner, and that's what we're really keen to see and promote in some respects. So if we could have a look at the best of that you've got, and as we were saying about the water mitigation, the pesticide mitigation, that'd be brilliant. Shall we go?
Let's go.
Let's go.
Okay, thank you.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Até já.
So this is a bit example that I was telling you, and right from the start, if we leave our office and around the office, over there we have a multi-layered edge that goes around the farm that is right now a bit hidden by the tall grasses, and here also a bit hidden by the grasses we are installing an orchard, but this orchard is special because this is made of varieties that are Portuguese traditional varieties.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And many of these varieties, because they are not very commercial,
Yep.
either due to their productivity or because they don't appeal to the taste of the current consumers, are under a risk of extinction, of
Okay.
losing the genetic diversity. So in a way we are also conserving a genetics that is ours.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So just to emphasise that you are a soft fruit producer.
Yes.
But you're actually looking to re-establish original grasses, original plants that are nearing extinction.
This is, it's hard to spot from here, but basically we will have citrus trees here, fig trees, apples,
Wow.
pears, plums, all from genetic diversity that is local.
Okay.
Basically, it's not going to the market, it's for our own consumption, or to be used as if people want to take a cutting from the tree, they can come here and they have a place where they can do the cutting of a variety that is local.
Yeah.
And in the end you don't lose that genetic diversity, because if the variety is not suitable now,
Yeah.
maybe in the future it will be suitable for other consumers.
Yeah.
And many of these varieties are actually starting to get a new people are starting to get a new look on them, and finding that they have some genetic traits that help for example for the disease resistance, for example.
Okay.
That on the commercial varieties you no longer have it.
Just saying it again. You're a commercial business, but you're doing something
Yes.
like this. Presumably, you find that beneficial.
It is beneficial because first of all, I think it's beneficial for the bank of the plants and for it preserve the old genetics. I think it's beneficial for them. And then it's beneficial for us because we can have fruit that eventually cannot travel 5 days, and so it's not good for commercial production, but we have a canteen, so we provide meals. We can use our lemons in the canteen, so we don't need to buy them outside. We have land available. This piece of land here it's under a biodiversity, internal biodiversity program, so we're not going to grow raspberries here. This is for the orchard, this is for native plants. So yeah, we can have both. We have the experts, we have plenty of agronomists, we have luckily we have water, and most of this is the water is treated after the sewage and then used to this plot here. So we don't need water from the dam to really irrigate this. And then, well, it's a contribution for the environment.
And how many people have you got on site?
Well, currently I would say around 400.
400. Wow. Okay.
But although we are a year-round supplier, we have peaks in production.
Okay.
So I think during a big peak here in Portugal, we can get up to 800.
That's
people,
a big
more or less.
business. Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
Here on your left, you see this reservoir. This is not used for irrigation. Actually, this is used to maintain the biodiversity. The reservoir was here when we started this, and we decided with the natural park and local authorities to actually keep this reservoir, but just for biodiversity. We don't extract any water. Now it's full of water because we had rain this year.
Okay.
And then you can see we planted a lot of trees and plants around with different layers. Some of them are suitable for wet areas, some of them is for more for dry areas. But this is more to provide water for the animals around the farm. You can see plenty of birds. Not today it's very windy, but you can see plenty of birds here, plenty of animals, frogs. So we just keep it and it looks beautiful.
And help me, the three of you, you're so excited about this diversity element of it. Does this come from yourselves, or did someone up high say you must do this, or how did this work? Because you can imagine 20 years ago, that generation would have just perhaps flattened this whole area and just had it as one big pack house and this all concreted over, but not now. So how come you three are so positively different?
I think João is the best person to respond to that, because I think it started in the agronomy team back in 2018, right?
Yes. So I would answer both. So when we started in 2018, we started doing some small things around the field, small things inside of the field with getting grasses and biodiversity back. Back then, a very small project and going forward, we start seeing the advantages already in the same year. And when I mean advantages, as we were discussing earlier, basically with this strategy we were able to cut our pesticide application, and I mean insecticides mostly, in 80% from the start.
Wow. Okay.
And this is basically because you are bringing nature back. You use nature to control the pests.
Okay.
And later with our current owners, they are very much focused on ESG, on sustainability, and they also are pushing us. So there is a desire from us, and there is also someone enabling that.
Excellent.
And I think from the start with the management, I can say that the management was never against it. Basically the management gives us freedom for the agronomy team to trial things, to do things, and that's a very positive environment to work in.
And to have that cost saving on the likes of insecticides, but it also doing good. It's a win-win.
It is. I think it's a bit reductionist if we say it's just to save money. It's not. It's also a lot because we believe it works. So for example, here we did spend money. We did spend money on propagating the plants, there was invasive trees all around this reservoir,
Yeah.
acacia trees that had to be removed.
Yeah.
But we know that we are doing a positive thing for the environment, for the local environment.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we do believe it's not just a method that will give us back some money later. It's also something that we believe we need to do something to make the environment here better.
Yeah.
We are in a natural park after all.
Yeah.
We do have responsibility for the land that we are currently in.
Yeah.
So we do believe in this.
Yeah.
It's not just something that we are forced to do. It's not something that we do for the economy of it. It's something that we do truly believe in.
Yeah.
But then if we embed this way of production, it is, as João said, it's not just about the savings, but it's about the security as well. Imagine that you have pests right in the middle of production and you need to spray.
Yeah.
You spray, you cannot harvest, or you
Yeah.
harvest going to the rubbish,
Yeah.
to the waste. You cannot sell it. And if you can have these resilient habitats around around your raspberries,
Yeah.
even if you get a pest, suddenly you have the predator straight away. And maybe you need to put a small amount of extra predators there,
Yep.
and you control without losing production.
Yep.
And in our point of view, it's safer also for production to grow this way, rather than just applying chemicals. And then if you need to apply during the production,
Yeah.
it's a massive step
Daniel
back.
made a great point about resilience, because actually what he's saying actually happened to us over the past 2 years. There is a new pest in Portugal and Spain, which is a thrip. Basically, it's a small insect that bites the flowers and bites the plants. Basically, these new thrips, it's a bit different than the ones that were already here. It's called thrips, and it's very damaging for blueberries, raspberries and strawberries. And when I mean it's truly devastating if it goes unchecked. And the growers start having it, we start having it. Here it never was a problem, it still isn't an issue. It's here like everything else is, and in other places it became very the damages were big, and the only alternative that is for the bio is by using insecticides.
Okay.
Which I have nothing against using insecticides in an emergency, but if your emergency starts being every time, it's no longer an emergency, something that is the norm,
Yeah.
which we don't want that. By having this resiliency, basically you will find thrips in the field, but you will also find predators that eat the thrips.
Okay.
And the system is in equilibrium.
Yeah. Brilliant. Okay.
So it never gets the damaging part of the
I cannot believe this is a soft fruit farm.
We didn't see any yet.
Wow.
E tem este aqui. Este deixas tipo a gravar.
Okay.
So, Sandesh is one of the person that is responsible for the nursery. As we were saying, we have a small nursery, and this is just a tunnel, but it's a tunnel that can get hundreds of plants out of here. I would say 99% of these plants are native, and most of them are native and with genetics from the region.
Okay.
Because a lot of time if I'm going to buy, let's say, a lavender plant, if I buy a lavender plant that, even if it's the same species but it originates from Italy or southern Spain, I'm losing a bit of the genetic diversity that exists in this region. I'm already bringing something that is foreign into here. So besides looking at species that are local, we are also looking to the genetics that is local, which is quite important. Besides that, many of the plants also come from
Keep talking.
many of the plants also come from third-party nurseries. some nurseries from the state, and basically the nursery is a bit organized in zones. We are gonna have zones that are for more wet places because we still have them, and you can see here that all of these species are more aquatic, let's say, and then as we go we have species that are more of dry areas of sand dunes. We have species that are more basically here we have many species of oaks, Portuguese oaks in this case. We have the one that produces the cork, which is Quercus suver, but we also have other that are more shrubby. We have ash trees. There is a difference there.
Team, can you just give me an update as to Summer Berry Company in Portugal? What's the physical size? You know the standard questions. How many hectares? We talked about how many people. What crops are you growing? Take us away.
So
what are the
we
figures?
now have 2 farms, 2 sites. They are very close to each other. Right now we have 140 hectares of tunnels with 230 hectares of total size.
Okay.
So many of the area is, well, besides the roads, the pack house and the office, many of this area is devoted to biodiversity, to conservation. And when we truly say that this for conservation is not just not doing anything there, it's basically trying to improve what we already have there.
Yep.
But yes, 140 hectares of tunnels to produce raspberries.
Okay. And do you think you'll stay at that sort of level, 140 hectares, or will you look to get bigger as the market increases?
So at the moment we are now working with associated growers, so people that grow alongside with us here in the region, but also in Algarve, to go in line with the demand from our customers. So there's a big demand for our raspberries, and now we have some growers also working with us. So until this year it was not possible to expand in the region due to the water restrictions.
Yeah.
So this was totally off of the radar, and there's still no rules after this spring when we had a lot of rain. So we are just waiting for news.
I'm just looking at your biodiversity scripts there, but let's speak to the marketing guru. Raspberry sales, are they on the up generally in Europe and the UK? Do you think?
According to the reports, yes,
Yeah,
they are increasing. There's more demand from consumers.
Yep. Okay. And as we were talking in the office, I feel that with so many people now realizing how bad ultra processed foods are, that there's going to be this swing towards fresh foods. I've got 3 kids who have just moved away from let's call it rubbishy food, and are now eating more and more fresh food. So that's going to be great for yourselves, but potentially you'll have to find more growers to keep up with demand.
Yeah, now the group, the Summer Berry Company, is expanding to other geographies as well. Right now we have farms in the UK and Portugal, but we're expanding to South Africa and Morocco. That will increase our production window.
Okay.
And it will allow us to really have a complete year-round production to our customers.
The dream, a year-round supply.
Yes.
Okay. And do you think that's achievable?
Of course.
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
In raspberries, we already do it from Portugal.
And in strawberries from the UK.
And in strawberries from the UK.
Okay.
So just as we came through, those fields were very young fields of raspberries. We are still having grasses seeded and growing, so they are still growing. This field, it's much more closer to the production, or we are starting to get into production. we cut the grass in the middle to allow the pickers easier access and to see the fruits better for the crop to being easier to harvest. There's some red berries already.
Yeah. Daniel, take the lead on this. You've just given us this amazing drive down, and we've just had a fantastic explanation as to what is this, Daniel? Why is this making such a difference to your business?
Because I think, luckily we stopped near these plants. I think this is where all our strategy on biodiversity has started. So here, in this plant, you can have the ecosystem in balance.
Yep.
You have the predators, you have the pests. They are all here around, and this is what we want.
Yeah.
So having the system in the full balance, you don't have this really spikes on number of pests in the crops and damaging the crops. That's what we want.
Yeah.
And then this is the start, and then João, then the next one.
So Daniel is quite right. When we started all the initiatives, we started with this plant which has that advantage of producing a lot of nectar and pollen to feed all the predators that we have, and even the pests. We have pests here for sure. But then when we started, you would see this plant in all of the edges of the lines, and we start thinking, okay, so it's great for the predators, it's great for the ecosystem, but it's just one species. So one species is not biodiversity. And we start adding other species. And as we go through, we're gonna see other species. I was just pointing out previously, that's fennel.
Yeah.
Right now it's not in flowering, but when it's in flowering, fennel has some very interesting flowers for some of the predators. And this is one of the species. You are gonna see snapdragons, you are gonna see some species of daisies and similar.
So this is amazing. Daniel, let me just ask you the pointed question, but this must cost money. This must cost the business money.
Actually not. And the reason for that is by having this, of course there's an investment on this, but there's a saving on the amount of pesticides, there's a saving on the hours of tractor drivers. So all in all, actually there's a reduction on cost by having all these initiatives, because if you reduce 80% on your pesticide usage, of course this is a real saving. And more than pesticides is all the hours, all the diesel, all the CO2 go into the atmosphere that you save by having this. And this is basically putting the nature working alongside with you in the field.
And marketing wise, I'm guessing the retailers must be really keen on this because the message is so positive.
Yes, so historically the Summer Berry Company has been a lot more of a corporate brand instead of consumer's brand. So normally we don't have this direct relationship with the final customer, but with the retailers we work with, they come and visit us a lot and they see all of our ESG reports and they are very much interested in everything we do environmental related, including of course biodiversity and also all our water management efforts that led to a lot of water efficiency. That's really important.
Well, what team, well done. There's so much to learn from this. I love your collaborative style. That's as you're saying, that you're happy to give, whether that be your neighbours or to the industry as a whole. We can learn so much from your approach because it works.
It is, and we are a very open farm. So if people want to come by and visit us, as long as they let us know, we are very happy on opening the doors. We are very happy to share all this knowledge. We could look into this as some industry knowledge that we are going to keep it secret. But in the end, and especially biodiversity, if you share it with your neighbors, if your neighbors start working on this, the general population of pests everywhere are going to decrease. So even ourselves, it's a positive thing. So it's not something that we want to keep hidden. It's not something that we don't want people to know about.
Yep.
It's something that we hope that other people are following, and we truly believe on this.
Yep. Daniel, just explain this amazing, but it looks slightly dated channel.
Yeah, this channel has over 50 years. So the water comes from gravity from Santa Clara Dam, that is about 50 miles from here in the mountains. And of course, a system like this usually has losses about 60% of the water. So this estimation on this system is about 40% versus water going through pipes. And yeah, of course, it's in the plan to have this upgraded in the next 5 years. Also as a response to the shortage of water we had over the past years.
Okay.
This farm I can focus much more on water capture and water recycling.
Okay.
So this farm in 2021, it was built already with that in mind. This is one of the biggest reservoirs in the region. It's now full with, I would say 90% of that water is rainwater.
Excellent.
But also we built it with a mindset of recycling water. And what I mean recycling water is getting the water that drains from the pots of the plants
Yep.
back into a reservoir,
Excellent.
treated and pumped back into the crop.
Yep. Okay.
That means you get 100% water efficient.
Fantastic. So tell us.
So to start, Daniel, the story of this farm, please.
So this farm was built in 2021, and because we had experience and we were already established and thinking a little bit ahead, we decided to level this with gradients, all the fields. So we are able to collect all the water from the runoff of the plant. So when we give water to the plants, about 10 to 20% of the water goes out of the pot as a runoff, full of fertilizers. So what we have in this farm is all the water is collected into let's call it drainage pipes.
Yeah.
It's stored into this tank here. Then with ozone, the water is disinfected to kill all the fungus and diseases that might have from the plants, and then it's pumped back into the system with a ratio of 10% to 15%. So in that way, we actually save about 15% of water usage. We save on fertilizers, and with that we also reduce the demanding of water from Santa Clara Dam. So in 2024, actually 60% of our total use of water was from what we call our own sources. By our own sources is water from runoffs, water from the rain that we collect and store, and water that in the wet areas of the farm that we need drainages to be able to drive tractors, we drain and we collect that water as well. So in 2024, actually from the total amount of water we had available from the dam, we use only about 75% to 80%, and the other is still there for someone who needs.
Yep. And we were talking about the retailers earlier. They must be very impressed on that ESG perspective that you're recycling water,
Right.
and especially in a water shortage area such as this.
Right, and that gives a lot of confidence to our retailers as well, because they know that even if we have a huge amount of years, 2, 3, 4 years without much rain in this region, they know that we are prepared for that, so the supply of berries will not be on halt.
Yep.
And that's even the confidence on partnering with us.
Yeah, because that's one thing you don't want to see, guys, isn't it? You don't want to see empty shelves of fresh produce. So anything that you can do, and there's also, we seem to be coming back to the same philosophy of doing good at the same time, of recycling. That's the word I was looking for. The circular economy, the sort of the circular economy you created for water.
And I think resilience is we speak about resilience a lot, and all the business nowadays speak about resilience, and this is a tale of resilience, because right now there are restrictions on this region about water. We would be restricted in production, but by doing this, by being able to get water that falls from the sky for free, we are basically more resilient to all these changes. If from one day to the other they say the restriction is going to be higher, we are prepared for it. Because in the end, when we did the study for this farm, we went to go back to the models of climate change for Portugal, and definitely the rainfall for this region until 2050 is going to decrease. This dam that is now struggling, it will struggle more in the future. This year was the first year that levels are on more on a safe level, more than 50%, which is amazing. But if we will get back again, the dam in trouble due to the lack of rainfall. But when we think about rainfall, we are in a Mediterranean climate, which means it rains. When it rains a lot, and it rains in the winter and in the spring. Nothing in the summer. Gets back raining again in the autumn. We've seen it today. It rained a lot in the morning. Now it's sunny. When this rain comes in into excess, even if we capture 10% of it within the winter and store 10% of that rain, it would be more than enough for us to have our full amount of water for all year.
Wow.
All year. What is the problem? We don't have enough storage available. Because of course we are storing a lot of water in the winter, but we don't have such a big water need in the winter. So one of the things we are investing in is on a new reservoir. It gives us an extra amount of water that we are able to store. So even us capturing a small percent of water here, of rainwater, most of the water still goes out of the farm and straight through the ditches, the drainage ditches that end up in the sea later on. So this is a small step, a big step, but a small step that many farmers could do to be able to be a bit more resilient.
Because it's very, very, you use that word resilience as mitigating risk, isn't it? Because you've got water risk. We haven't talked about it, but the energy situation that happened earlier in the week, weather factors, currency factors, anything that you can do to mitigate risk within your business, you're obviously looking to do. So talk us through.
So this is one of our producing fields, and basically this what is called a floricane crop, the second cycle of raspberry. These were plants that produced in the first year. They gave us good production in the summer, and then they were overwintered, and now they are producing our spring. The good thing about raspberries is that they are quite plastic, so in the way that we can do many things with them. So this is the second cycle. And we could do a third cycle, because these tall tall things that you see here, this is what is called a growth through. Basically they are spawns that come from the roots, and they grow through the crop, through the canopy of the cane, and when the cane finishes, we can take out the cane, we leave them, and they will produce again in the summer. So there is a year where you get two crops out of the same raspberry pot, and because a raspberry, the root system is perennial, meaning it lasts forever in theory. In theory you could have your raspberry crop starting and going to a second cycle, a third, a fourth, so forth, and so on and so forth. Of course there is a time where the productivity starts to drop, and that's when we start and we restart again the cycle.
Got it.
More things. This was probably harvested today. It's been harvested each 2 days. you don't already see many fruits red. They have to be harvested in the right color and in the right stage to reach our customers in good quality.
Yep.
And
And let's just find Daniel, talk through the operation. Daniel, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
So just talk us through the operational aspect of it. So the raspberries that were picked this morning, just walk us through what happens to them after they're picked.
So after they are picked, the raspberries they have maximum 1 hour from the field from the moment they are picked to the pack house. Then in the pack house they are cooled down. They are the weight of the punnet is checked, because here in the field we already pack into the final packing, and the fruit that is picking in the morning leaves our pack house in the afternoon, heading to our client. So the fruit that was harvested today, so today is Friday, on a Saturday will be on transit, and on Sunday will be arriving, let's say, to the UK.
Wow.
And then on Monday will be available for the consumer.
Okay. That is highly impressive. It's such a slick, efficient supply chain.
No problem. The fruit is packed or picked already into the final punnet. So then this goes to the pack house, cool down. The weight will be checked, and then depending on the customer, could be heat sealed or put a lid on, or even open punnet, and it's going to be dispatched. In this case, because we are in the afternoon, it's going to be dispatched tomorrow.
Okay. You always forget. I always forget that the colour of raspberries are just astonishing. Such a vibrant colour. There's nothing more attractive than fresh produce. Team, I'm so impressed. I don't know what I was anticipating. Your entree as to Max, just be aware that this is a slightly different business visually and how we operate. Spot on, wasn't it? And then just seeing how you've merged, what's the word I'm looking for? Not sustainability, not regenerative, the methodology that you have of native species in incorporation with your production. It's I think this is a masterclass in growing soft fruits in Portugal, if not globally. Go on, Daniel. Agree with me?
Definitely. We have, I think we have probably the best agronomists around to help us to deliver this project. So this is something that we learned in school, and this is something that we believe we can make a difference, and we believe we are really making the difference.
You and I love marketing. How do we get this message out more so as to the good that the Summer Berry Company are doing and the sector as a whole, to influence more people to not eat certain foods but to eat more amazing fresh produce, the fresh produce that you grow? What's the magic dust to that?
I think it starts from within. It starts with our own people and people being proud to work here, which is what I think we have. And then our people is just our ambassadors in every way, and of course all the partnerships we have with our clients, with our suppliers, with all our partners, really the community around us. It's so important to have those relationships so strong that in the end people will know what we do and will respect what we do and will continue to work with us.
Yeah. So I've learned so much today, and I'm hoping that everyone that's dialed in and looks at the photography has learned so much. Set everyone a challenge in the fresh produce sector. You three and all of your colleagues have learned so much. Set everyone a challenge as to how they can learn from you. What's the challenge you're going to set them?
Wow, that's a tough one. I think I would say trying to do things differently, it's not a bad thing. What I mean this is experiment. You just need to start with a small step. Do the edges, the biodiverse edges, or start with the edges of the fields with more flowering plants, and see how it changes within your field. If you see that the change is positive, and I'm sure you will see it's positive, do more, and then another step, and then another step. That's actually how we did it. We start small, and then we went one step at a time, and it will not stay like this now, and it will be another step next year.
Well done, sure. Daniel, what's your challenge? And you can't use that one.
My challenge, I'd say, you need to trust your trust the nature, because I think it's really important. Before we humans were here, it was in a balance, in equilibrium. So there's no reason why it can't be again in equilibrium with us. So I think we need to trust it, and of course, as a consumer, should go for the safest product and the healthiest product.
Go on, wrap up for us.
Okay, so I'll be inspired by the Summer Berry Company values, which are we care for our fruit, people and the environment, and we are growing together. So I think, as João was saying, change is part of the game. Don't run from it, just embrace it, and throughout the process you really need to care about the fruit you produce, the people you produce with and you partner with, and of course about the environment. Without it, we won't be here.
Well done. And I asked you earlier, after 3, just tell me again what your favourite fresh produce is. What your favourite fresh produce is together. After 3, 1, 2, 3.
Strawberries.
What a mishmash. Well done, Tim. You're brilliant. Thank you.